Hey, this is a progress video showing where I'm up to with the development of HydrauliCAD 64-bit. It's taken a bit of time to get to a stage where I can get a bit of a flow with the development. A lot of it's been sort of putting some framework in place to allow a smooth workflow, which I'll demonstrate as much as I've kind of put together for now, and it should give everyone a bit of an idea of like the direction it's heading. And if you have any comments, I'll be interested to hear them. So to start off with, we have the settings. So the settings dialog shows the main configuration settings for HydrauliCAD as the top level. So the first thing we need to do is set the project's path, so the path of where all the projects live, and so we set that in this configuration here. So we set what the default project root path is there, and then when we add projects into the system, it'll just look in from that root folder, and then you'll be able to select whatever job number project within that directory. So we set that there. That needs to be set first of all when we first start the program. The other folder which we need to configure is the download folder. So that's where Aconex downloads go to, zip files, and they will be accessed by the downloads manager. And so the downloads manager will look in all those folders within that directory and zip files, showing all the folders and zip files with CAD files in it that need to be moved into the project, which I'll come back to the downloads. The other paths we need to set as the default project paths. These are carried through when we create a project, so these need to replicate what your project structure folder looks like. So the default one that I'm used to using is project, and then inputs folder, and then drawings folder. So this is the folder where after stuff, the CAD files from downloads get copied into here, moved into here under the discipline, so architectural, and then a date folder with all the CAD files that were received. So that's the inputs or incoming, whatever you want to call it. So that's that folder there. So all the downloads and received files will get moved into that path under their respective discipline. The design path is where all the design drawings live. So that's the floor surface design drawing. So your cover sheet, your water, drainage, schematic drawings, all drawings that are design drawings live in that folder. And then the XREFs path, so that can be any path within the project. Usually it's under an XREFs folder under the design. So whichever path is specified under XREFs path, there will be discipline folders created within that. So there'll be architectural, structural, and all the XREFs will live within those subfolders under XREFs. And the other two is the export PDFs from the drawing manager, where they get loaded within the project, and the DWG path for bound CAD files from design. So they're the main project paths, and they are what gets carried through when we create a project. Once we create a project, then those project paths can again be specified for each project, but usually they're fairly standard project path settings that we shouldn't need to really change too much once we create the project, because these are where all the data files for the HydrauliCAD will be referenced as well. So they're the main project path settings. The other settings under the main settings are the design drawings. So we have different types of design drawings. So we have a cover, a legend, combined hydraulic drawing, so that's all services. We can have a drainage drawing, water drawing, fire, stormwater, gas, schematic drawing showing all the levels in the building, standard detail sheets that we use, or a penetration drawing. Now each of these types of design drawings have a particular prefix, and that way the program knows what icon to use and what type of drawing the CAD file is. So it'll be prefixed then the level when we create these drawings. So this allows the program to also create drawings really quickly on the fly without having to do any saving as or naming drawings manually. So these particular types of drawings also have a template file associated with them, so you can set up your standard legend and cover, standard schematic sheet and detail sheet. And when you create a project, those also get carried through to the project. So then with those templates within the project can have title sheets in them. For instance, in the layout tab, so they can be set up so when you create a new drainage drawing, it's already got the right sheets in it. And also, like your schematic, for instance, we can create just the levels for the project. So each time you create a new schematic, it's going to be relative to the project and the number of levels on the project. So they're the floor surfer types of drawings, the prefix that are used, and the template files that are associated with those. Next, we have the light table naming conventions. So the naming conventions for grid, architectural, ex-arch, structural, civil, survey, miscellaneous, and the service disciplines mechanical, electrical, hydraulic, and fire. So each of these have naming configurations that make it automate the filing of X references from downloads to inputs and then into the XREFs folder. And then we can also have a sub-discipline on each of these. So we can have an architectural ceiling plan or a landscape plan. And these basically automate the file naming can also for X references when we're naming those. So there's quite a large configuration there of the different services and their respective sub-disciplines. And then when we create a new project, we can also create levels for the project. So for instance, if we have a new project and we can batch create the levels really quickly, we can say, okay, well, this project has a roof plan. It's got two plant levels. It's got 5 floor levels, 1 ground floor, and 5 basements. And then it will create the levels for the building in the RLs from the basement up to the roof. But these can also be moved up or down. And then we can edit the naming. One other thing I'm going to build into this is when we batch edit, we can put a building name with the levels as well. If the project has a different number of buildings, we can create building 1, roof, etc. for each of the levels as well. So that will give us more settings that we can easily create drawings within each project. User settings is basically going to be user projects and different types of settings that can be saved for the program. So the user will be able to just nominate which projects they're working on, and they're the only projects that'll show up. Projects that will show up within their drop downs when they're using the program. But this is the main management console for the application. So we're nominating the paths. We have the templates and the naming conventions, and then we can manage projects in here, and we can manage the different project levels, their paths, and the template files for each of those. So yeah, so that's the Hydraulic CAD Manager. So once we have projects in there, and we receive some drawings that need to be filed and created for X references, we can do that via downloads. So if we open downloads, we can see the path that we've set to look for zip files and folders with CAD files in it. So at the moment we have one folder in there, and it's got 3 architectural levels, mechanical and structural. So if we want to file these into the project with the project structure that looks like this, then we have inputs, drawings, architectural, mechanical and structural, with nothing in them at the moment. So what we want to do is to load those, file these into the project. So we can say these architectural drawings here, and we can say we want they're part of project 1 and their architectural drawings, and we can say extract. And now that we've extracted those, they get filed under today's date and the drawings that are in there. So we can do that for the mechanical drawings. They go into project 1, mechanical, and the structural drawings, project 1, structural, extract. And now that folder's been deleted. All the files have been moved from downloads to incoming folder. So we can see we have mechanical and the structural now within the project. So there was no need to create any folders or date folders or move things around. It's all just automated through the managed downloads, which is a big time saver. After downloads, we can go to incoming. So under incoming, we can now see for project 1, these are the only folders in there that have these are the folders that we just moved from downloads. So they're now in incoming, which is in here under inputs for this project. So now what we want to do is we want to move these projects and get them into the XREFs folder. So under outputs, design, XREFs, we want architectural drawings in there. Can go, and mechanical drawings and structural drawings. So at the moment there's no X references, so rather than doing saving as and naming things and trying to get naming conventions right, this can be automated very quickly. The project has levels, each discipline has sub-disciplines, so we can just say for architectural we want to add XREF files. So we know that's level 1, so we can just say level 1, and then it will name it according to our naming conventions, XArch, level 1, and then today's date. If it was a ceiling plan, we could put ceiling there and it would append ceiling to the, or a landscape drawing or whatever, but it's just a level 1 architectural. So we can go OK, and we can add level 2, and we can add level 3. So now we have under our architectural X references, we have our today's date, and we have QA data attached to those files. So we can save the drawing name, the revision and everything as part of the QA. So what we'll do is we'll get the structural drawings in there as well. So we can say structural level 1, level 2, and level 3, and mechanical we'll do the same. Level 3. So now in the project we have architectural XREFs, we have mechanical XREFs and structural XREFs, and we didn't have to open a CAD file at all. So they're all filed, named correctly. QA data is attached, ready to be converted. So that's downloads and incoming. So that shows us how we can get from downloaded files into the incoming files, and then from incoming into the X references, all named with the configurations that we use. So the next area is the palette. So under the palettes, we can have a look at under XREFs for the palettes, and then if we go to project 1, we can see that we have architectural X references. From here we could open these drawings up and run a cleanup or a batch cleanup on these drawings, but they're already named, so we can run the cleanup whenever we want. And what we can also do here is we can save the QA information down here. So we know the original file that we got was the original file name. The drawing number, it just takes that from the file name, so we need to change that to A101. It's a P1 drawing and it's preliminary. This one here, P1 drawing, preliminary, and this one here, P1 drawing, preliminary. So now we have QA data associated with these X references that we can use throughout the project. Come back and reference that in superseded, or stamp these on the drawing, so we can say we're using this architectural revision in the quality control. We can also supersede drawings in here, so we can say that's a superseded and that's a superseded drawing, and then we can just say show current. So you can basically clean up and do a QA on our drawings from the XREFs palette under Hydraulic Head Tools. We can show current, and we can see all the other drawings that were created in X references as well. So we only have architectural, structural and mechanical within this project, so it's only going to show us those X references. So the next area is the floor surfer. So the floor surfer, now that we have levels for the project, we can create a list of drawings very quickly now. If we come into the create drawings, and we can create different types of design drawings in here. If we wanted to create, say, a cover sheet, we can just call it H cover. Actually put that into the design. So there we have a cover sheet for the project. And now if we want to create a legend, we can create a legend. We can create a cold water schematic, hot water schematic, gas schematic. So these would all be, so these schematic templates could have the right number of levels on them, and then when we create these schematic drawings, then all we have to do is start designing our schematics. With the floor surfer, we can just show open drawings. So depending on which drawings are open and closed, we can just filter the list. If we want to create a full set of drawings for the levels, we can go to batch, and we can say we want a combined set of drawings for all the levels apart from the typical levels. So we can have combined drawings for the basements, ground, plant and roof, and then we can go OK, and then we've just created our combined drawings. And then we might want to create water and gas drawings for those other levels. So we can say we want a set of drainage drawings for levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our drainage drawings, and then we can create another set of water drawings for levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have this list here of drawings, but they're all in one set at the moment. So what we want to do is at the moment we can see we have a design set and we have all the drawings. So what we want to do is we want to create a few different sets for these drawings that we have. So the way we can do that is we can create a new set, and we can call it water. and then we can move those water drawings into the water set. So move to set, water, and now in water we can see we have the levels in the water. If we want to do the same for drainage, but what we can do is we can move to a new set and we call that drainage, and we might want to just call these drawings details. So we have a details set, and they're all under details. So now we have different sets within our floor surfer. We have design drawings, we have detail drawings, drainage drawings, and water drawings. We can see all the drawings if we go to all, and we can even search. So if we're looking for level 1, we can just do a search for level 1 and all the level 1 drawings will come up. If you want to see all the basements, here are all the basement drawings. So, and again, if we just want to filter down that list, we can say show open, and it will just reduce the list to the drawings we have open in this session. The other thing is the light table. So if we open, say, drainage level 1 and we go to the light table, we can see we're in the drainage level 1 drawing under project 1 under light table. So now if we want to attach an architectural, we just go attach architectural, because these are the only drawings that are in X references. So we can see we can attach, we can say we want to find level 1 and it'll find level 1. So we attach level 1, attach structural level 1, and attach mechanical level 1. So the light table now has we can add, multiple architecturals to the light table, or multiple disciplines for each service. And then the QA, we can see which architectural we're using now, because we can update the QA in here, and we can also see what the revision we're working with for the architectural. Each architectural will show its QA. If we want to turn them all off, we click that one, and if we want to, the light table still needs a little bit of work, but the concept's there and the idea is there. So it's just a matter of kind of stitching all these kind of little bits and pieces, and the framework here that I have, stitching it all together and making it work with all the existing tools and the invert level. It's been a bit of a slow process to get up and going with it, but at the end of the day, I want to make a better hydraulic CAD than the legacy version that we've had for so long. This version will be be able to work in a really smooth workflow and work within projects just really easily and quickly, and automating file creation and drawings in invert levels. So just trying to make it as best as I possibly can, using the most advanced technology that I've sort of got in my toolbox at the moment. So it's coming along. Still got a fair bit more to build on it, but just wanted to give everyone a bit of an update of how it's coming together. It's still a little bit disjointed, but slowly I'll be stitching all these pieces together to create a cohesive unit that'll be very, very usable program, and I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. So thanks for your time.